Live. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Speaker Spotlight. For those I haven't met before, my name is Lori. I am a business and brand success coach who helps freedom loving coaches, consultants, and strategists to grow and scale sustainable, location independent businesses and personal brands. And today I am joined by Amy Lewis. And nothing inspires Amy more than helping distracted individuals connect deeply with themselves to gain clarity and create consistent, well, this is updated, but consistent cash flow and without sacrificing their health or their relationships. Um, Amy has spent over 2 decades in the fitness industry and built multiple six-figure businesses and helped others to do the same. And I know I won't read the rest necessarily because I know that's not going to necessarily be our focus today, Amy, because you're making a bit of a shift to be more in that fitness space, right? So,
Absolutely.
so while she does have a strong background in sales and marketing, her passion really lies in helping others to create a life that they absolutely love. So let's kind of dive into that, right? We're talking success and how it relates to health, right? So let's dive into success
Yeah,
habits. If you want to start out for Amy, though, I'd really love to hear just the background of what brought you into this space.
yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting. And the thing that I want to just start with and remind people from the start is it is okay to make a shift, especially as you're looking to find yourself. So how did I get
Mhm.
into this? I started in fitness because of my own health issues. I had Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed at 12 and I was sick all the time. And I had a very, very, very fortunate diagnosis, a doctor who diagnosed me because when I was 12 years old, sat on the edge of my hospital bed and said, "You have Crohn's disease." He told me he was 98% sure I didn't have anything before the test. So this is
Wow.
maybe why he came in after. And I had Crohn's disease, and he said, they just thought I was an anxious kid, which I was, but I did have Crohn's disease. And he said to me, and I want to share this with you, and I want you to use this. And he said to me, and this is for anything, right? I'm going to tell you what he said to me, but you can insert your obstacle instead of mine. So he said, "Amy, you can sit home and wait to get stomach aches, which you will, or you can say tough shit and go out and live life." Now, how awesome is that? I have no idea if he spoke to my parents before he said that to me. No clue how that went down. But what I do know is that made me work through pain and get up and go and be sick in the morning and then go water skiing. My parents were always like, "How the heck does she do this?" So the Crohn's disease and my ability to do things, and then after multiple surgeries, really
Mm.
find my way with nutrition and fitness, and I felt amazing. I was like, "Oh my gosh, well, if myself was like a quarter of my intestines and all these issues, if this can work for me, what can it do for other people?" And that's really how I got into fitness. And my dad died young. He had heart disease, cancer, diabetes, everything. And
Wow.
I was 26, so technically an adult. At 52, that's like half a lifetime ago. So I was 26 years old when he passed away, and I was a teacher, a school teacher at the time. And when he passed away, I was like moonlighting personal training, and then I really went full on into fitness because I lost my dad, and I felt like it could have been avoided. Right? He was depressed. He ate all kinds of crap all the time, and his genetics.
Mhm.
Right? So that really propelled me to say, okay, well, moving, eating well, hydrating helped somebody with a severe health disorder. What can it do for normal people? Normal, right?
Yeah,
So
normal, whatever that is.
exactly. And it was really all about habits. It was all about success habits and success leaving clues, right? So I fully admit that I first got into health and fitness for aesthetics. I was in my 20s. I wanted to look a certain way, and that's why I started working out. Let's make no mistake. That was
Hmm.
really my motivation. Went to aerobics, strength training, like all the different things. Learned why I did a ton of cardio, which was not good. So I did get into it for that, but with my health issues, that was the route I went. I went to actually a fitness nutritionist first because I wanted better results. And my trainer was like, you need to meet with this guy. But what happened with that, Lori, was once I implemented the habits of whole foods, reducing sugar, drinking water, all that stuff, my Crohn's symptoms virtually disappeared. But of course, I didn't stay there. There's always a rollback. So that was really
Yeah, I can
there's
understand.
always it's like, oh, that's really working well. Why don't we start doing opposite of that? And that's just human psychology. So that's really what got me into the fitness. So really interestingly, I was in right outside of Manhattan, and I worked with people who were executives. They were in Manhattan. They'd come to me before or after work, and super early in the morning or late, and they would talk to me about their lifestyle and life and their work. And then some of them would be having babies and wanting something different. So I wasn't a business coach. I was life coaching, and I was helping people make these changes without even kind of realizing it, that what I was doing, because my job, why they were coming to me, was fitness and nutrition and mindset. It wasn't, let's change our career. So that
Right.
was really interesting. And then when I moved here to Vermont, people are on the other end. They want to be active. It's a big, we hike, we ski, we bike. It's like big movement town. However, it's also a big party town. And so when I moved here, a lot of people were on the other end. They were retiring, but they were high performers. They wanted to know what was next. And they said, you have built multiple fitness businesses. You know how to do business. So in our coaching, I started coaching people on their next step. And finally, I was like, what the heck am I doing? I'm business coaching anyway. And so I did that for many years, but I've come full circle and, to success habits in all areas. But how the heck your success habits and health, fitness, and mindset help you boost your business as an entrepreneur? So really, really exciting. And all of our life experiences lead us here. But those things gave me an unfair advantage. I could look at them. They were awful. They were. But they really gave me a leg up in my own health and fitness, and then really being able to go out and help other people make changes. So super exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's an interesting question, like how all these things relate. And if, this conversation had come in front of me probably even 4 years ago when I was already doing the business, before I had made some health changes myself, I've been like, I don't think those are really related. But I've met so many people, so many entrepreneurs that deal with, different health issues. And a lot of them are very, very similar, right? So that has to tell us something. So I'm really excited to just dive into this and talk about that, because we don't necessarily think about it, but it is definitely related.
100%. And something that I say all the time, two things. I'll tell you two things that take it or leave it. One is, how you do anything is how you do everything. And the second one is, success leaves clues, right? So oftentimes what I see is entrepreneurs are driven and they're all in. And what happens, and this happened for me, I did this. So just remember, like, I see people having a conversation that maybe are where you'd like to be. We had a ton of pitfalls, ups and downs to get here, and there will be more as we continue to level up.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's so important. So maybe you're an entrepreneur and your business is your passion, and you're working really hard at your business, right? Because you want to help people. You want to support your family, and obviously you have to support your business as well financially. So a lot of the other things, like relationships with our loved ones, our relationship first and foremost with ourselves. If we're not where we want to be, subconsciously we start to do things. Mine is, so a lot of people eat, I don't eat, right? I'll be like, oh, and I thank goodness finally uncovered this. Like, it was a worthiness issue. I wasn't thinking I'm not worthy of food. That would be like a crazy thought. But inside of my mind, that was where I went. And that came from not being healthy as a kid, not being able to eat. And then my mom read the book When Bad Things Happen to Good People when I was diagnosed. And I thought it was bad. Like, I thought like I was bad. Something was like, how, I didn't understand. I was 12. I didn't get it. So that that all led to those things. So again, noticing what your habits are. That's a habit that didn't serve me. So I notice if I start to like not be eating, like, wait a minute, what's going on, right? So I know
Mhm.
that it's important to pay attention to your behavior. So when you're that as an entrepreneur, there's so much to do and so much to learn without drinking water, right? Which a lot of
Mhm.
us, I will tell you that I committed 3 weeks ago to drinking a gallon of water a day. I have been successful. It is not easy. The things that have changed in my body mind are incredible. So if you're not hydrated, our brain is electric. And
Yeah,
what conducts electricity? Water. So if you are dehydrated, you're not going to be able to think as clearly as you could. You're going to get overwhelmed, right? Because when you don't have enough
absolutely.
water, what happens is, so this is if you don't have enough water, you're eating processed foods and you don't really have nutrients, your body is going into stress. So instead of your energy going to your connections in your brain, being able to think and make quick decisions and not get emotional, your
Absolutely.
brain and body are focused on survival and focused on getting all the crap out that we're gunking our bodies up with, right? And I was there too. I hustled. I never saw my family. I lived on either nothing or Oreos. It was funny you mentioned Oreos. I'm like, those are my favorite, right? And even the gluten-free ones are terrible. I did
I
try
haven't
them.
tried them yet. I'm gluten
Don't,
free as
don't,
well.
don't. I would say if you're going to eat an Oreo, eat the real thing. You're going to get sick from the gluten-free ones too. It's like I don't. There's.
Good to know.
I'm like, why am I eating these gluten-free Oreos? The regular ones are so much better, and I feel like crap anyway, right? So the thing is, when we're not paying attention, when all we're focused on is our business habits, and we're not focused on our habits that actually support ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, well, what
Mhm.
happens, right? Maybe we don't do our lead gen because we don't feel like it. And we don't have the strength to be like, tell ourselves, this is what you have to do. It's uncomfortable, but you have to do it, right? Or
Yes.
maybe you do lead gen, but you don't do the follow up. You get overwhelmed. Or maybe you need help and don't reach out because what we eat, what we put in our bodies affects how we think, how we feel. So you don't
Absolutely.
have to change everything. It's not like, oh my God, now I have to change. No, 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 no. You don't want to do that. You want simple success habits, simple things that are easy to implement, right? They're simple to implement, they're effective, and that you can say, oh, well, if I'm implementing this habit, do I have a habit of generating leads? Do I
Absolutely.
have a habit of making sales? If you're looking for clients and you don't have clients, you probably don't have a habit of one of those things. Maybe you're really good at talking to people, but you're afraid to make the sale. Or maybe you're really good at sales, but it's hard for you to get the people to that
Yeah.
conversation,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Hear
So
that
it's
a lot.
what a lot, and you are excellent at helping people with that, Lori. And it comes into the habits though, right? When we have imposter syndrome and we don't feel worthy, and we look at all these
Mhm.
other people, there are real chemical and electrical reactions in our bodies
Mhm.
based on what we're doing when we're not working. So if you are really committed
Yeah.
to your business, it's worth it to commit to yourself first, because if you're not, your business will slip. You cannot say, well, I'm really good at this, but I don't do this at all. It leaks in, right? It might not look like
Yeah.
it, but it
I
does.
mean, it's kind of like, your the example, and I use this in various things, but I think it's relevant here too. When you're on an airplane, right? Like, put your oxygen mask on first before you try to help other people. The other people being your
Mm,
business in this situation, right? If you're not taking care of yourself first, giving yourself that oxygen first, it doesn't matter how, you know, good you're doing or how much you want something, you're just not going to be able to physically save that your business, that other person.
right.
So yeah.
Or what happens is you break down, you build up all of this success, whatever that means to you. And maybe
Mhm.
you do have the money rolling in and the clients, but you're not taking care of yourself. So eventually you can't do
Yeah.
all of those things, right? And so it's that's a great analogy, because here putting on your oxygen mask could just be as simple as, are you drinking water? You've Now see, Lori and
Yep.
I both drinking water. And the funny thing is with that gallon of water, Dan, don't really, with the formula, I'll tell you, the formula is you take your body weight, whatever it is, and then you half that. And so take your body weight in pounds. So if you're watching from somewhere where you're, doing kilograms,
Yes,
convert it to
mostly every other
pounds.
country but the US, yes.
Exactly. That's another whole topic. But take your body weight in pounds, divide it in half, and then put ounces after that. And that is what your body needs for water for the day. So if you're 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces of water. And I'm doing that
Right.
example because it's easy math.
Yes,
And math is not my strong suit, right? So honestly, for me, and this is just, again, it's not meant to be a trigger warning. I'm like about 100 pounds. So
Okay.
I need 50 ounces of water. I am drinking 128 ounces of water, and I have not felt this good and this on it, alert. My joint, I'm 52, my joints don't hurt. My digestive issues have, I used to have like everyday discomfort. So again, it's what are you doing to support your own self? So it could simply be your oxygen mask, could be drinking water. If you're like, well, I do drink water, maybe it's going for a 10-minute walk outside.
Yeah.
Maybe it's every 20 minutes looking away from your computer, focusing on something 20 feet away for 20 seconds, right? That's the 20-20-20 rule. And that allows your eyes to rest. It allows your brain to rest. So it's really, there's no one size fits all, but there's something, a simple habit that you can support your own self for that will enable you to do that hard thing in your business, right? That you're avoiding, or that just feels like it's like you're stuck. So I love that, putting oxygen mask on, because it really is.
Yeah, like it can be used in a lot of scenarios, but I thought that was kind of a perfect analogy, that a lot of people that, we're familiar with, because we have to take care of ourselves first. If we don't, like I said, we're not going to be successful long term. And it's just, I see a lot of entrepreneurs dealing with a lot of health issues as well. Like it's so insane to me. Like I never met so many people with so many health issues before I got into this like online entrepreneurship space. There are so many.
So
you got
many.
2 of them right here.
Well, exactly. And what happens is, as a driven person, as a driven human being, we get focused on outcomes. And the thing is, it all takes time, whether it's your health and fitness, whether it's growing your business, it all takes time. We want the answers now, right? And what happens then is there's a lot of anxiety. And that's exactly why, I mentioned the 90-day plan, whether it's a 90-day plan for your business, a 90-day plan for your health and fitness, a 90-day plan for your improving your relationships. 90 days, you're not going to complete it all. But 90 days says, okay, I'm committing to this for 90 days. And I'm going to implement these habits. And especially if you're working with somebody, which I highly recommend, if you need someone to check in with. I do, Lori does, we work with people, right?
But I have a coach.
So you check it so that you can say, okay, if in 3 days, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, you check in. You haven't given it enough time. If it's absolutely not doable, your coach will help you, right? So if typically you want to implement something and this goes for business and personal, for at least 2 weeks, and then assess it, right? I've had clients who were like, but I'm doing it, and I'm doing organic outreach, and I'm not getting results. And then I say, okay, let's look at your spreadsheet, your tracking sheet, and let's look at what's going on, right? I'm not going to be like, you're not doing it. Then we look at the tracking sheet, and the truth is, she did it 3 times in 2 weeks for 15 minutes. So that is 45 minutes, and it's not implementing for 2 weeks. So then we dive into what's overwhelming. Do you want to do a co-working session? I did that a lot with my business mentorship clients. We get on a Zoom and do it together, just like Power Hour, right? Let's do it. So it's really, and then you have that 90-day plan, so that if in 2 weeks you're really not getting results, you check in, and because am I really not getting results? Like, really, are you not getting results, right? Because even in fitness, in 2 weeks, you will see a result. And I talked with someone about this earlier. I was like, if I ate pizza for 2 weeks straight, I will have a result. I will be in so much pain and I will gain like a ton of weight, right? Because
I do miss pizza though.
I do too. I just said to my husband, I wish Don't Look Up, that movie. And I'm like, and if we're getting hit by a meteor, I'm like, I want all the pizza, all the ice cream, all the, like, if I'm going to just die and get hit by a meteor, they made like a healthy meal before the meteor hit. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I want all things. Although maybe that's not good to go into my next realm. But the point is, we want everything in instant gratification. And that is honestly the only place that works is on the internet. And it doesn't even work that way, right? So give it time. A 90-day plan is a reasonable amount of time to get results and then be able to say, okay, what have I accomplished? Where do I need to go next? Right. And then you're really implementing and checking in with those success habits, whatever your goals are. But it gives you enough time, and it's not 6 months, it's not a year, it's 90 days. And honestly, it goes like that. So I always say, would you rather, I know I did it too, Lori, where I wanted it quickly, and you got to slow down to speed up. Because I was doing it quickly, nothing, it doesn't happen. Then you're just frustrated, overwhelmed, and end up with digestive problems.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just like, okay, well, then you just have to give it up because you just can't simply like physically sustain it. And I also like something that I just like to point out is to people too, when it comes to your business, is yes, we all want it quickly. Yes, we want to be a millionaire in 90 days. Like I got a DM from somebody this morning, which I haven't responded to yet, but I will. It's just like, oh, if you want to, hit 7 figures in 90 days or something, like, really? What am I going to be having to do to make $1 million over the next 90 days? Because it's just not going to happen. Because in reality, before the big rush of online businesses over the last few years, entrepreneurship businesses, like when you started a business, it was like, I think on average 4 years people go before they make any money, right?
And so that's a great point for people to be careful when you're making decisions. And I'm going to throw this out there because you brought it up and it's such an important point. It takes time. So if you're seeing marketing, like, do you want to make 7 figures in the next 90 days? You have to ask yourself, who is that person's client? If somebody's in high multiple 6 figures and they are close and they need to make some tweaks, they could hit 7 figures in 90 days. If you are at 0, you are not hitting 7 figures in 90 days unless I have no clue what, right? So I don't even know.
What's that movie with Demi Moore?
I was just thinking that it's like I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like the Indecent Proposal.
Yes, Indecent Proposal. So you could make $1 million in 90 days.
And that's up to you, like no judgment, your choice. Exactly. And I love that you said the 4 years, because this doesn't mean you don't make any money in 4 years. But I remember years ago when I closed my brick and mortar, went online. My coaches that I was working with for the brick and mortar had an online program. This was way back before everybody was online. They called it the 100K program. It was a year-long program. So it was like or something like that. It was like, I forget. But I remember they closed the program down, by the way. And they're excellent mentors. But what was happening was I was paying $1,800 a month, going to masterminds, doing everything I was told. And I get on my coaching calls and be like, well, why am I not getting results yet? Oh, no, you're doing everything. Just be patient. Just be patient. And then I finally went to a mastermind in New Orleans, which I loved, but they threw out the 4 to 6 years. And I'm like, $1,800 a month for 4 to 6 years, but no. So I ended up leaving the mastermind, understanding the time it would take. And very interestingly, they shut that mastermind down. I think there were a lot of us who were like, WTF,
so and it does take that long, but yes, $2,000 a month for 4 years, it adds up.
So be discerning, but do realize, depending on where you're coming from. Have you ever owned a business before? Are you starting in a brand new niche? Are you starting with a brand new audience? Where is your business? So if you're seeing advertising make one success habit that will take you far and
Yeah.
save you a lot of bucks is to be discerning, right? So that look
Yes.
at what's being offered, ask, is that really reality? If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So make a
Yeah.
habit of learning to trust yourself. That way, even when you're on the phone with somebody and they might say, you know, whatever, and it sort of pressuring you, if that doesn't feel good, then you don't do it, right? So it's just
Yeah.
really a habit. That's why if we wrap it back to the, the success habits with health and fitness, you've got to be able to think well so that you can make good decisions for yourself and your business. You will no doubt in your business life make a poor investment. It's the
Oh,
way it is, right?
absolutely. I just finished paying one of mine off.
Exactly. And it's like we're always like, oh, like dagger to the heart, but just realize that way you can learn and maybe seek some help and guidance. And even with that, sometimes we're in our own head. But if you feel good in your body and your mind, you will be able to be decisive, right? So if you're somebody who's like can't make a decision and you go around and around, part of that can be related to what's going in your body. If you are eating a lot of pizza or grab and go or gluten, it's glue, right? Flour, sugar, water creates glue, and that electrical signals cannot get through glue. So
No,
it's
they
yeah,
really
can't
can't. They
do,
really can't.
right?
No, no. Taking care of yourself, though, and it really is
So important.
yeah. And people do ask me too, like, well, how have you, gotten to where you have in your business? I do credit much of it to changing my health alongside of things, because when my business really started to take off is when I made the choice to take care of myself, to put my health first, and to prioritize that, like every day. That was my focus, and the business stuff started to happen. I started to meet the right people. I made the right connections. I learned the right things. The money started to come in. I started to see the results coming as a result of these new habits that I was implementing in my life.
I love that. And that's again, how you do anything is how you do everything. Because, when you are not taking care of yourself, you are sending a signal to the powers that be that you don't really want it, right? And it
Yeah.
becomes really, really hard. And sometimes you're doing something like my clients got great results in my business mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Where I am coming full circle back to fitness, and I typically work with high performers to support them in that way. It feels right. Like I've come home. I'm rooted,
Mm-hmm.
right? So really being able to help people in that way and leaving the nuts and bolts business to you and experts like you, Lori, and just being able for you to be able to say, yeah, are you taking care of yourself? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting water? No, coffee is not water. I try to argue
No,
with my
I
husband
tried
about
to.
tea. Tea is not water either. I'm like, oh, but it's more water than coffee. We had this
No.
conversation last night. It's not. I was
It's
like,
not.
I know it's
And
not. So
I don't
water,
think my parents
real.
are watching, so I can say my parents, that they try to tell me that one when I'm like, because they have their ailments and everything. And are you, drinking enough water? And
Yeah.
oh yeah, I drink coffee and I drink my diet Pepsi. And I'm like, yeah, that's not water. That's
It's
not water.
not. And honestly, no one can make anyone do anything, right? So as an adult, no one can force another adult to do the work. Okay. We're not talking about
Yeah,
abusive situations. We're talking about like, what do you need to do? This is always scary for people. We are each responsible for our own success.
absolutely.
So if you're not taking care of yourself, no one is going to. And then there is something energetically, right? Your energy is not as bright as it could be. And people don't even need to, it's just a feeling, right? That, oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow, they don't think, oh, wow, this person is exhausted and they don't know, they can't tell you that you're not feeling well, but there will be something. So truly, it's all about success habits. If you are
Yeah.
taking care of yourself, kudos to you. And
Yes, of
self-care is
course.
a must, right? Because you are the only person that you're guaranteed to be with for the rest of your life. And therefore,
Love
I know
that.
some people are so. My dad died. My mom was 53. He was 54, and I don't know why. Every male in his family died by 46, so he got an extra like 8 years. So I don't know why my mom never like contemplated this, but she definitely did not, and was in shock. You're always in shock when someone close to you passes away, but
Yeah.
they didn't even talk about it, which is so weird to me. They didn't even talk about like possibilities. But the truth is, that's the truth. So, what I always tell people is, if you're nervous about what other people are going to think about you, or somebody says something, they're not even thinking about it, and you're not going to see them, and they're not your client, and they're not your person. So let it go and really root into who you are and take care of yourself. So that and I wasn't always like this. I used to get really, really upset by the haters and get really upset by clients not doing what they weren't getting results because they weren't doing the work. And then I felt like it was my fault, right? And it's not your fault. What you are responsible for is you. So I really invite you to just do a little self-exploration and be honest with yourself, right? I was like, oh, but I'm eating chocolate with monk fruit sweetener. Well, guess what? The rest of whatever was in it was sending me running to the restroom. And I'm like, oh, but I'm eating well. What's going on? You're eating these monk fruit sweetened chocolate chips that obviously, if you look at the ingredients, have things that don't work for you. So it's just, I had to be honest with myself and say, okay, if I really want to feel good, I need to not go eat that bag of chocolate chips thinking it's healthy. Now, this is a current thing. I have an entire bag in my kitchen. Right? So the only reason I'm sharing that with you is not to be contrary, but to say I'm human. And so that those of you watching, that you don't beat yourself up. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has their something, but success habits will get you where you want to go, because success leaves clues. So look at what's working for you now. What's going really, really well right now? That's the first question I ask when people enter my Facebook group. What's going really well for you? Why? Because you're doing something right there. You're having success, and you can look clues. You're likely have a habit of certain activities that are getting you those results. And then how can you bring that into your business or into your health? So that's would be my top tip, would be to look just take stock. Like, write down what you're eating. Are you drinking water? Don't do anything else. Just notice. That's it.
Yeah. And just like you said, take notice, just no pressure. It just start the process, right?
Exactly.
That's the first step.
Awareness, number one. And get help. If you need somebody to, if you need to go over this with somebody, speak to your coach. You can speak to your business coach about this. You can drop into my DMs. I love to get DMs.
And I'm going to pop there you go. There is your Facebook.
Oh, awesome.
So do connect with Amy, guys. And yes, I mean, you can talk to your business coach. I have helped my clients quit smoking. I've helped people lose weight, exercise, like hold them accountable for their habits. But if your health is really something that you want to get a handle on, you should talk to Amy. So do connect with her there over on Facebook, and she has a wonderful group as well. So, and I know you have. Just want to mention quick for those that are watching that you have something new coming out next week, right? You said.
Yes, I do. So exciting! I have a couple things. I was like, so we are kicking off 5-day sugar detox on Monday. It is not crazy. It's not starvation. It's no potions. It's no pills. We're simply going to look at what you're eating, and you'll have an entire success manual that you'll get right away as soon as you sign up. And we're really looking at where are the hidden sugars in foods, because Lori and I were chatting before we got on and saying, I've really cut out sugar, and it's so because the hidden sugars are real. So we react, and then depending on the state of your body, we might even be reacting to fruits and things like that you don't have to remove forever, I promise. However, you do want to look at that. So it's a really super simple. I like to keep everything simple and doable, and it's 5 days, right? And I even had a very close friend of mine. She is a candy eater. Every time I go her house, and I'm doing some house. She's away for 2 weeks, so I'm not house sitting, but I'm taking care of stuff. And she has a
Yeah.
candy table. Now, typically, I would go to the candy table, and I'd be like, "What has she got on the candy table?" And I would pick something, and I would eat it. Right, nothing with milk because milk kills me, but I was sugar. Well, since I'm committed, right? Because that's what I was like, well, I'm going to eat her candy. So I did not eat anything from the
Good
candy
job.
table. And she contacted me and said, I can't give up candy, but I'd like to do the 5-day detox. Now, I'm not giving you an out to eat candy through it, but she is 62 and she will not do it if I tell her she can't eat candy. But what she will do if I don't can't go to your candy table, if I say, oh, go to your candy table, just notice how many times a day you're going, and then look for the hidden sugars in the other foods. She's like over the moon, right? I'm guessing that she's going to eat less candy. So
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
disqualify yourself. It's a free 5-day challenge. If you like to show up for the lives, awesome. If not, that's awesome too. The other thing is that my new website's going to be ready, which I'm like super stoked. But
Yay.
that's for another time. But join us. Come on in. It's a lot of fun. We'll have fun. You'll meet some other people, and you'll feel great. 5 days, even in a day or two, you'll feel great. So
Yeah.
I would love to have you
And as
join
someone who
us.
has given up sugar before, like I can definitely say, like you will absolutely feel. I'm probably going to join
Yeah.
it because I've started eating it again. But
Yeah. And it's just awareness again, right? It's awareness. It's
yep.
not, you're not going to beat yourself up. You're just going to notice, like, I really do have those headaches. My daughter said to me, she had some big coffee drink and a pastry. And she was like, I am going to have a sugar crash around 2 p.m. I was like, you
Mhm.
are.
Yes, yes, you are. So I love it. So again, if this is something that sounds good to you, as you can reach
Yeah.
out to Amy. We can also, after the show here, drop a link
Oh, sure.
in the comments below. So
Perfect. Yeah, we'll be happy to do it. It's freedomandfulfillmentaccelerator.com. But I will be happy to circle back and drop that in the chat for you. And I so appreciate you showing up and spending some time with Lori and I. I know
thank you.
Lori's here every week, but it's been an honor and a privilege to be here and chat with you.
Yes, thank you, Amy, and thank you, everybody. Hope everybody has a lovely day and a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.